This week's readings for the Bible in a year bring us to the books of Jeremiah, Zephaniah, and part of the book of Acts as well. Now, Jeremiah and Zechariah can sometimes be quite painful reading, but lots of oracles of judgment, so speeches of judgment from God to either the people of Israel, Judah, sometimes other nations as well, and that can be quite hard reading. But as well as judgment and the justification for that judgment, we do also see signs of hope, signs of a future. And so, for example, in Jeremiah chapter 4, we read, "If you will return, O Israel, return to me, declares the Lord. If you put your detestable idols out of my sight and no longer go astray, and if in a truthful, just, and righteous way you swear, as surely as the Lord lives, then the nations will be blessed by him, and in him they will glory." So that's a reminiscent, isn't it, of the promise to Abraham in Genesis 12, where Israel's vocation, their role in the world, was to be a means of blessing to the nations. So God is saying, look, return to me. This is why you are going to be judged, but return to me and I will restore that work for you to do, which they had failed to do. And similarly in Zephaniah, there's some hard oracles of judgment there for Israel and the nations. But in the very famous part at the end of Zephaniah, we read a really wonderful passage of restoration in the future for a remnant. And this well-known verse in verse 17 of chapter 3, "The Lord your God is with you, he is mighty to save, he will take great delight in you, he will quiet you with his love, he will rejoice over you with singing." So there is judgment, there is also themes of hope. And our passages in Acts 16 to 19 feature one of Paul's missionary journeys, so-called, and this is the journey that he and his companions take, and he now moves from Asia into Europe. And more of the converts coming to Christ are from non-Jewish backgrounds as well, which builds quite well on the Council of Jerusalem material in chapter 15. And you'll notice there's a lot of drama, a lot of excitement. There are some very extreme reactions to Paul's message. And you'll see that in some of the texts. But notice as well how he approaches presenting the message of the gospel differently in different places. And look out for how he does that. And you might want to reflect on what that means about how we present the gospel message as well. And those are the readings for this week.